Today I am reviewing the Bifanuo walking pad. I think that's how you say it. I got it on Amazon for $208. It's on sale for a little cheaper. It's $200 now. And I chose this walking pad. I only had two requirements that I absolutely needed. It needed to have a handlebar. I have a pretty significant abdominal separation at diastasis recti from having 10 kids. And I knew that I needed something to offer me a little extra support because I do have balance issues. And I needed it to go fast enough so I can get my heart rate up to that zone 2 range. And this was the only walking pad on Amazon in the $200 range that fit those two requirements. My first impression was that it was heavier than I realized, but it was packaged pretty securely. At this point, I was a little confused on how to raise the handlebar, and I ended up making it much harder than it needed to be because the instructions weren't clear, but more on that later. The walking pad comes with the manual, a hex key, the remote, the power cord, a little plastic stand so you can prop up your phone, and lubricant, which you're supposed to apply once a month. As for the features, I wrote them down because I knew there was no way I was going to remember them. It has a 2.25 horsepower motor. The lowest speed is 0.6 miles per hour going up to 4 miles per hour, a weight capacity of 265 pounds, shock absorbers that are good for your back and your knees, 10 pre-programmed exercise setting, an LED display that tells you your speed, how long you've been walking, how far you've been walking, and calories burned. And it does it one at a time, like it cycles through it every five seconds or so. And then finally, just this little handy dandy spot where your remote can sit while you're walking. Okay, so now for the pros. I definitely really appreciate that it has this little stand, and I just prop my iPad on there and I watch some YouTube videos, some true crime, and it makes the time go faster. I like that the remote can be kept right here while you're walking, so that's handy. I, of course, love the handlebar. I love the big display. I love that it feels sturdy. I like that it's quiet. I think you could absolutely use it in an apartment. The motor itself is just, I was surprised at how quiet it was, and even my husband said the same thing. My son, who is 6'3", tried it, and even though it's so tiny, it looks so little, and he looks so big in comparison, he was actually able to walk on it just fine. And he did say he felt like his foot was going to come off the back end, but I will say there's kind of a learning curve, maybe especially if you're not used to walking on a treadmill, which I'm not, and you do kind of feel it takes a while to get used to walking in place. It's kind of a weird feeling, so take that for what it's worth. And I love that it folds and it's really low profile. I can slide it right under my couch so it's not taking up a permanent space in my living room. So I appreciate that. Now for the cons. There's actually not a lot of cons. There's really only one and a couple of other small nitpicky ones, but I'll share them anyway. The cord is a little short. It's 5 feet 9 inches. So, you just have to make sure you have an outlet close enough so it can reach. But I'm not sure if that's necessarily just this model or if they're kind of all short, kind of like a toaster cord is always very short. But just mentioning it. The second thing is I wish the remote would kind of click into place, because while it's handy to have right up there while you're walking, when you fold the handlebar down, the remote does not sit there, it just falls out. So I wish that it was a little tighter and it was able to just hold the remote while it's folded or when you have it in the upright position. And even though I mentioned before that it does have wheels, which makes it easier to move around, it's pretty heavy. So yeah, you can roll it around, but it's not something that you're going to be able to like just pick up and carry from one room to the other, because it is, I think it's like 60 pounds. So, not a huge deal. I don't imagine that I'm going to be moving it from room to room, but just keep that in mind in case you had planned to do that. So my biggest complaint about this walking pad is the handlebar, and not necessarily the handlebar itself, just the way that you have to use this to unscrew it in order for it to fold closed. So I had mentioned in the beginning of the video that the instructions weren't too clear, and I ended up unscrewing it a little too much, and the whole thing just popped off, which wasn't a big deal. I was able to screw it back in, but it's so low to the ground and you can't really see what you're doing because it's so low. So it's kind of a little bit of a pain. But now I've learned that you just need to unscrew it about 8 full turns, and that's enough to disengage it so that you can fold it. So, would I recommend this walking pad to someone? Absolutely, 100%. I am very happy with it. I think it's great for someone who's looking to get more steps in. I think it's great for a busy mom that maybe you don't always have time to go outside and walk or go to the gym or whatever it is. I think it's fantastic for that. I actually have been doing 2 walks a day. It's because it's so easy to just take out and plug in. It's easy for me to do that while the kids are playing, while dinner is in the oven, and I love it. I think it does not have a lot of bells and whistles, but that just means more, chances for things to break too. So yeah, I'm very happy, and I would absolutely recommend it. This walking pad is not for someone who's looking to run. Okay, so it does go up to 4 miles per hour, which is kind of a light jog, but you can't run on it. And it does not incline. So I know some people like that for the extra challenge. This doesn't do either of those things. So yeah, I'm absolutely happy with it, and I would buy it again in a heartbeat. And I hope that this review helps you decide if this is the right one for you, or it just gives you things to consider when you find your perfect walking pad. Thanks for watching. Bye.